Welcome to the Queer God Squad. This is Friday, November 7th, 2025. I am Bishop Darrell Watkins, the Senior Minister of the Sunshine Cathedral. With me today are Bishop Robert Griffin, Reverend Dr. Ann Atwell, and Reverend Kevin Tisdall. We are the Queer God Squad. Visit sunshinecathedral.org to learn more about us.
Queer God Squad was created by Hotspots Happening Out to support our mission to explore the value of faith in the LGBTQ community. There is no streaming TV show like this in the entire world.
In 2025, we are celebrating the 40th anniversary of Hotspots magazine, with Queer News Tonight sharing over 11,000 stories and 11 million views so far.
We are the largest nonprofit LGBTQ media organization in America, and we encourage you to support our mission to inform, entertain, and educate our community and allies.
This is the Sunshine Cathedral perspective, the Ethiopian Tewahedo Christian tradition, and a lesbian nun who defied history. The Ethiopian Orthodox Tewahedo Church, a member of the Oriental Orthodox family of churches, possesses several distinctive characteristics that set it apart, particularly its strong emphasis on Old Testament traditions and unique liturgical practices. The Church maintains practices derived from the Old Testament that are uncommon in most other Christian denominations, such as infant boys are almost universally circumcised in the Ethiopian Orthodox Church. Adherents often adhere to a quasi-kosher diet. While Sunday is the main day of worship, some devout believers also observe the Saturday Sabbath, in addition to Sunday, as the earliest Jewish Christ followers did. Every Ethiopian Orthodox Church houses a Tabot, or consecrated tablet or box that is the only sacred item in the church and is considered a replica of the Ark of the Covenant. It is the Tabot, not the church building itself, that is consecrated, and the Ethiopian Church holds the unique and central belief that the original Ark of the Covenant is kept in the Church of Our Lady Mary of Zion in Aksum, Ethiopia. The ancient language of Ge'ez remains the liturgical language for the Divine Liturgy, although sermons and readings are often translated into local languages. The Church has a broader canon of Scripture than most other Christian traditions. It contains 81 books and includes texts that are not in the canons of other churches, such as the apocalyptic First Book of Enoch and the Book of Jubilees. There are far more fasting periods than in other Christian traditions. The clergy frequently perform exorcisms for those believed to be afflicted by demons. The Eucharist is generally reserved for young children, the elderly, and those who have maintained a high level of ritual purity, meaning that many sexually active adults, even married ones, often abstain. And many faithful commit to praying 7 times a day. What many may not know is that a 17th century Ethiopian Orthodox nun may have been a lesbian. Waleta Petros, who died in 1642, was an Ethiopian nun who had a lifelong friendship with another nun and led a successful movement to drive out foreign missionaries. Waleta Petros is recognized as a saint by the Ethiopian Tewahedo Orthodox Church, which honors her for preserving early African Christian beliefs by expelling Portuguese Jesuit missionaries. That's a long story, but it's a fabulous story. It's wonderful. It's interesting. Yeah. And not a surprise that there would be a lesbian nun amongst all of this. Now, many faith traditions, of course, have LGBTQ plus folks as part of their leadership, part of those who oversee the church. So it really doesn't surprise me that there's a lesbian nun, and it makes me very happy as well.
I don't remember the name of her companion, also a nun, and they shared a bed, and I think there was like a lot of grieving when the one, predeceased the other, or whatever.
Yeah.
So there's actually stories about this, and that these are Christian women who they weren't trying to be indoctrinated by another group. These Portuguese Roman Catholics, part of colonization, and they were like, no, we've been here for a long time. We're just going to keep and that she somehow was able to help repel these uninvited guests. It's sort of exciting to me. And of course, wherever you see women's colleges, convents, women's sports teams, same thing with monasteries and men's clubs. Why anything that really attracts all the same group? There's going to be
Of course.
yeah. Why do you think?
Yeah.
Why do you think you go anywhere but you went to this place? It's all of so. Of course, so yeah. Look in a convent, you're going to find some lesbians, and fair enough. Also, in the certainly in the Middle Ages, women it was a good career move.
Mm-hmm.
Now, not so much. Like what does it have to offer? But in those days, where women at least half the time died in childbirth, well. You don't have to worry about that if you've taken a vow of chastity. And, sometimes there'd be plagues. Well, isolated, you're not going to be exposed to plagues. A lot of times there'd be famines. Well, they always manage to have some food and they share it. So they're all going to work it out together. At least one woman is going to rise to a position of authority.
Right.
So it was a very attractive offer way back when. And and that seems like that would even be even more compelling, inviting to a woman who is maybe had some gender identity different than, or sexual orientation different, that didn't have language for then, but women who seemed unlike other women, but they were, and so that you find these gay and lesbian and trans characters throughout Christian history shouldn't be a surprise to anyone. I'm surprised that we've only found as many as we have, and we know a lot. But she's another example, and from the 1700s, pretty recent. It's not even ancient history, and from the Ethiopian tradition too, where these are some of the oldest expressions of Christianity, certainly in Africa. I just think she's a fascinating story, and if you would go to jesusinlove.com. You can find more stories about queer saints and whatnot, and I think she's on the list, and you can find out more details about Saint Walada.
Well, what I love about this story is, again, it lifts up some historical significance that a lot of people may or may not have known. Again, it's on my bucket list. I'll say that again to go visit, especially the Church of Our Lady of Mary in Zion, in Ethiopia, because it supposedly has the Ark there. And, I just imagine, her being a nun, just the nun that's mentioned here, is like the keepers of the secrets.
Yeah.
The keepers of the stories, the keepers of things that no one else would know. And they pass that tradition on, and they pass it forward. That reminds me, this was important work to them. They didn't take it lightly. They were about doing what needed to be done, especially nuns who driving people out. You're not good for this. You're not good for us.
Right.
This is not where you belong, and we're not going to be defeated just because you come in with a different teaching, a different ideology. We've been doing it all this long for all this time without you. What makes you think that we now need to change to do what you want to do? Not having it, be on about yourself. So love that type of attitude, and I think it's just it's powerful. It's a great witness. Long live the nuns.
Yeah. All right.
Knocking down that power dynamic. That was one of the first things that I heard as the story went on. And the other one, strange as it seems, I got hung up on the question of the Eucharist, how it was only celebrated, usually reserved for young children, the elderly, and those who had maintained a high level of ritual purity. How interesting. I mean, there's something in that makes the Eucharist special for this group of people and keeps it special. And I thought about it and I said, well, young children, even though there are people who will say that you're born into sin, young children don't know what sin is, whatever that might be. Older people are at the end of their life, and they're looking to make sure that they've at least attempted to do right things and given a final chance to correct some of the wrongs that they may have done. Who knows? And married couples who don't want to take the Eucharist, well, all right, good for them. You can grow up into that, or you've grown out of it. And I think that's what it was more than anything. So yeah, that caught my mind. And driving out the missionaries.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes. Thank you, sisters.
Yeah, and I wonder, they're just so, because maybe of their geographic location, I think there were a lot of Ethiopian Jews also. So I don't know where but that this affection for the Hebrew Bible and traditions and the circumcision,
Yeah.
and Jews and Muslims have prayer times a day,
Right.
and that the Ethiopian Orthodox have their prayer times, and
Right.
that they're just so culturally influenced by that part of the world and by neighboring religions. I just think that's fascinating, and we all are. I mean, you think the thing I practice came from a cloud, from God, an angel. No, we've stolen and borrowed and acculturated and appropriated everything. If you take out everything Jewish, we don't have a Bible. The entire so-called Old Testament is the Hebrew Bible, the Jewish Bible, and then the New Testament. They were people who were messianic. They were Jewish people who thought the Jewish Messiah had come, and they started writing about it. They included Peter and James and Paul. All had a big kerfuffle about it. Paul won, and they said, nope, you don't have to be Jewish to join the Jesus movement, which is why the Jesus movement quickly evolved beyond Judaism, and people don't even know about Judaism. But it started as a messianic movement within Judaism. The entire Bible is by Jews for Jews. So if you take out Judaism, we don't have a Bible. And if you take out paganism, then we don't have some of our holidays. We borrow everything, and then we make it ours, which is fine, but nothing is just brand new out of the, even the word Easter is named for the spring goddess, the Anglo-Saxon spring goddess, which is why a lot of traditions call it Pascha, because they don't like that goddess, whatever. But Pascha, of course, the Paschal Lamb. So we've borrowed everything, and Pentecost is a Jewish holiday. Yule, which we just Christmas, a pagan holiday. So that people like the Ethiopian Orthodox make a point of it, saying we do this like the Jews, or we do this like these other Christians. We do this like Muslims. Good, because that's true for all of us. And I think if you know where some of your stuff come from, you even appreciate it more.
Yay. Yeah.
Well, that's today with the Queer God Squad.
Before we go, I want to invite you to check out our Performing Arts series. Sunshine Cathedral Center for the Performing Arts has a great acts lineup for the 2025 through 2026 season. Here is a taste of what's coming up.
On November 7th, we welcome back Miss Coco Peru. If this show is like her other tours de force, there will be storytelling, laughs, singing, and a moral to tie up the evening. Or maybe this one is entirely different. You'll have to come to the show to know for sure. But you already know it's going to be one of the best nights of comedy and drag artistry you will have enjoyed all year.
December 7th brings Matthew Darren's annual Holiday Fantasia, always amazing, and this year it will again be co-hosted by Varla Jean Merman.
And in 2026, there are already some great shows lined up, such as selections from Pearly, a musical based on the play Pearly Victorious by Ozzie Davis on February the 7th. For more information about these shows and others, and to secure your tickets, go to sunshinecathedral.org/arts.
Please like and share this episode on your social media and look for Sunshine Cathedral on Facebook or Instagram.
You can also like our individual pages on Facebook. Remember to visit sunshinecathedral.org frequently. There you will find Bishop Talk, where Bishop Durrell and I interview queer religious leaders, activists, and scholars.
Thank you for joining the Queer God Squad today. We are here daily at 3 p.m. to have some fun and to discuss what our LGBTQ community is talking about.
Sunshine Cathedral is the world's leading progressive queer church. Progressive, queer, and God are words that naturally should go together. Remember that we are all in this together. Also remember, you are God's miracle, not God's mistake. Until next time, we are the Queer God Squad.